Hey everyone, Krista Williams here. Happy New Year. I have a quick video on how you can use PowerPoint to make Google templates and then share them with your students through Google Classroom or through Drive. And then also, if you want to make presentations for teaching, you can create templates to save you some time. So you're going to start in PowerPoint. And the most important thing to remember when you're creating in PowerPoint is that your page or your slide needs to be the same size that you're going to use in Google. So I typically stick to an 8.5 by 11. That way, if students want to print their work, it will print nicely. But you can come up here to page setup and you can change it to anything you want. I am going to do 11 by 8.5 because I want it in landscape. And so now I'm going to just show you a quick way to make a journal template. So this is something that I could assign to students through Google Classroom and that they could work on maybe each week as a journal entry or a weekend news. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to take a text box and I want students to insert 2 pictures. And so when you insert a text box, there's no line or no fill. But if you double click on it, then you can make it into a box or an image. So there we go. I'm going to fill it with a color. And let's see, I try to stick to like things that are a little bit softer on the eyes than sharp, bright colors. So there's a blue. I did put a pencil over here so I can drag in some clip art. Let's see, I'll kind of make that almost like a border between where I want them to write and where I want them to put a title. So I could leave it just like this, but I'm going to guide students a little bit more because I teach 3rd grade. So I'm going to insert a text box and this is where I want them to put the date for their journal. So again, I'm just going to double click on it and make a line around it. You can also change the weight of your line or the look. They have a whole bunch of different options. Now I want students to do the writing here. So again, I'm just going to frame it in so that they know my expectations. And then when you double click, you can make the line. I'm going to weight it a little bit more and then kind of line everything up. So I'm pretty happy with how this looks. One thing I do like to do though is I like to put a text box around the whole thing and then create a line. So that way it just frames it all in because we're going to make this an image. And so it just makes it have clear edges. So I'm pretty happy. I do want students to insert 2 pictures. So I'm going to create an area for them to insert those pictures. So again, I'm just going to do a solid fill with white. I'm going to put a line around it. And then I want 2, so I'm going to duplicate that. And then I'll leave room if they want to put like a caption. So I'm all done. So I'm going to save this. And I'm just going to save it as a PowerPoint first. So I'll just save it as journal on my desktop for ease. Now, the second part is I'm going to export it. And when you export it, you have a bunch of different options. So you can do it as a PDF. I'm going to do it as a ping. So when you're creating templates, you're typically going to want to use a JPEG or a ping. So I'm going to use a ping. I'm just going to save this current one, but if I had a bunch of them, I could click save every slide. And then you can also change the quality of it. The higher, the better. So save current slide only. I'm going to save it to my desktop. I'm just going to name it journal so it's easy to find. And then I click export. Okay, so now I'm done with PowerPoint. And now I'm going to move on to Drive. So I want to create a slide. So I'm going to go over here to Google Slides, and it's going to open up Google Slides. Now this is the part where I have to make sure that my page size is the same size that I used in PowerPoint. So I'm going to come up here to File and to Page Setup. And if I had left it at widescreen, it would have stretched my ping, and it would have looked all weird, my image. So I just go to Custom. I'm going to do 11 by 8.5, and I'm going to apply that. And so see, you can see that it already changed the size. I'm going to delete these for now. And then to get my template in, I go up to background, and then I'm going to go to choose image. And you can either find it through all these different options, or you just drag it in from your desktop if you saved it there. And now that template that I created, that image, is now my background, and whatever students click, nothing will move. So the only way they can change it is if they go up and they change their background, which my kids know they can't change that. So now it's all ready to be shared through Google Classroom, shared through Drive, and students can now do their work on it. Because I do teach third grade, I do like to help them out a little bit. I could just assign it this way and, let them do the rest. But I usually like to maybe I'll insert the text box here, and I'll write the word date. And I usually tell them they can, change it to a readable font, and they can change the sizes. But this at least lets them know that I want them to put the date there. And then I'll usually put a text box here. And I usually just write start typing here, ... And then students know that they just click and they can start typing there. I would most likely put over here, insert picture, and then they can either insert a picture right over that text box, or they can delete the text box, but they know that there is supposed to be a picture. You can also put notes down here. I often put directions down here for students. You can also put notes or directions in text boxes actually in the sides over here, because it doesn't affect their work, but they can see it over here. And then when they go and print it, it actually only prints what's on the slide. So a couple different options for directions. And let me just title this Journal 2020. So now, because this is a journal and I want them to most likely do it often or weekly, I would duplicate some of these. So you can either just click on it and hit Command D on a Mac, or you can come up here to slide and just duplicate slide. So I would probably give them about 10 of these, but then I do teach them that when they get to the end, if they need more, to click on that last one and duplicate it. So here we go. Already. Now you can go into your Google Classroom. Here's mine and classwork, and you could hit create assignment. You could journal 2020. You could type some directions here. You could add a due date. You could add a topic. You find it right here in your Drive because you just created it. It's very recent, so it's right there. Most important part, I've learned this the hard way many times, is make sure you click make a copy for each student. And then you can assign it right there on the fly. You can schedule it if you know when you want, or you can just save it as a draft and then save it when you want, or assign it when you want. So that's how you create templates in Google using PowerPoint. I'm sure there's other presentation applications that you can use, but I prefer PowerPoint. You just basically create an image and then you set that image as your background. So super simple. I use it all the time. Students love it. Sometimes I'll create graphic organizers and thinking maps, and then I'll assign those, and then students know exactly what to put. But if you have any questions, reach out to me, KristaW@nmusd.us, and Happy New Year. Thank you.